Another meal plan isn't the answer to healing binge eating for good. And if you've been downloading every perfect eating plan, thinking this will be the one that finally stops your binge eating episodes, you've probably noticed something frustrating. You follow it perfectly for a few days, maybe even a week, but then life happens, stress hits, emotions surface, and suddenly you're face deep in a bag of chips or cookies, promising yourself you will start fresh tomorrow. Hi, I'm Sarah, and in case you're wondering why you should even listen to me, I'm a certified holistic health coach with advanced training in emotional eating recovery, gut health, and hormone balance through the Institute of Integrative Nutrition. Everything in this video is based on current research, real-world experience from my own journey, and helping women break free from the binge restrict cycle. Women who've tried every meal plan, macro guide, or clean eating challenge out there. And after years of studying the psychology behind binge eating and healing my own 10-year-long struggle with food obsession, I discovered something that completely changed everything. Binge eating isn't a food problem that needs a food solution. It is an emotional and nervous system problem that needs emotional and nervous system healing. I know this might feel like a tough pill to swallow, but it is the truth bomb that you need to hear. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly why meal plans keep you stuck, what is really driving your intense cravings and binge episodes, and I'll show you the holistic approach that actually works for long-term healing. But first, let me tell you why that perfect meal plan is actually making things worse. Now, don't get me wrong, a meal plan can be a helpful tool in certain contexts, like when you're learning how to cook or figuring out what food makes you feel your best. But when it comes to binge eating, a meal plan often does much more harm than it does good. When you try to solve binge eating with another meal plan, this is what can happen. You're essentially putting a band-aid on a broken bone, because binge eating isn't about not knowing what to eat. You already know that vegetables are healthy and cookies aren't a complete meal. The problem isn't knowledge, it is what is happening underneath the surface. Meal plans create more restriction. Most meal plans are restrictive by nature, even the balanced ones come with rules. This restriction might feel doable at first, but over time it leads to feelings of deprivation, because your brain hears restriction and immediately goes into scarcity mode. Suddenly, all you can think about are the foods you're not supposed to have. Then they ignore your emotional triggers. Meal plans focus solely on the physical aspects of eating, what to eat and when, but binge eating is rarely just about physical hunger, that emotional hunger, so sadness, stress, boredom, or even the need for comfort drive it. A meal plan doesn't care that you had a terrible day at work. It doesn't account for the fact that you're overwhelmed, lonely, or stressed. It can't help you when you're using food to cope with emotions that you don't know how to handle anyway else. So simply put, they don't address those emotional needs, leaving you feeling vulnerable to overeating when those feelings actually hit. Then meal plans disconnect you from your body. Instead of learning to trust your hunger cues, you're following external rules. Instead of understanding what your body actually needs, you're eating what a piece of paper tells you to eat. You become more and more disconnected from your body. You lose touch with your natural hunger and fullness signals, making it so much harder to trust yourself around food. Then they also set you up for the restrict binge cycle. The pattern where you restrict with a meal plan, feel deprived, eventually break because the pressure becomes too much, and then the binge happens, the guilt kicks in, and you start to restrict again. If you've been trying meal plan after meal plan thinking this one will fix it, it's not your fault. The diet industry has trained us to believe that the solution is always the next plan, the next set of rules, but binge eating isn't a lack of willpower or discipline. It is a natural response to the restriction and unmet needs. It is a predictable biological and psychological response to deprivation. To heal binge eating, we need to understand what's actually happening. Your nervous system is dysregulated, so when you're stressed, overwhelmed, or emotionally activated, your nervous system goes into that fight or flight mode. Food, especially carbs and sugar, can quickly shift you into a calmer state. And it's not about lacking willpower. Your body is trying to regulate itself the only way it knows how. Then you're also meeting your unmet emotional needs. Binge eating often serves a purpose. It provides comfort when you're sad. It gives you something to look forward to when life feels overwhelming. It helps you numb difficult emotions. It creates a sense of control when everything else feels chaotic. And until you find other ways to meet those needs, the binge eating will continue. Your brain also is stuck in scarcity mode. So if you've been dieting or restricting for years, your brain has learned that food isn't always available. So when it's available, especially forbidden foods, your brain says, eat as much as you can now because, well, you don't know when you will have it again. And this is exactly why you cannot just stop after one cookie. It is your brain trying to protect you from future famine. Then there's often trauma or unresolved emotional pain. Many women who struggle with binge eating have experienced childhood emotional neglect, perfectionism, or people-pleasing patterns, feeling like they had to be good to be loved, using food as their primary source of comfort and safety. These deeper patterns are what need healing, and another meal plan will truly not help you with that. I spent years thinking I just needed the right eating plan, and I tried so many things, most of them only for a short time, like macro counting, intermittent fasting, meal plans from influencers, and for a while some would work, depending on how long I was able to stick to them, which more often than not wasn't long at all. But during the time they seemed to be helping, I'd feel in control, maybe lose a little bit weight, and I think that I finally had it figured out. But then life would always happen. Stress at work, relationship issues, just normal human emotions. And I'd find myself again deep into the binge eating, feeling like a complete failure. The turning point luckily came when I was doing my health coaching training and learned about the nervous system. I realized that my binge eating wasn't happening because I was weak or lacked willpower or discipline. It was happening because I was using food to regulate my emotions or regulate emotions that I didn't know how to handle any other way. And that is when I stopped focusing on what to eat and instead started to focus on why I was eating. And this is what changed everything. And this is why I do what I do. Here's what healing binge eating actually looks like. Step number 1, nervous system regulation. Before you can heal your relationship with food, you need to feel safe in your body. This means learning tools to calm your nervous system. For example, with one that I mention all the time, box breathing. So inhaling for 4, holding for 4, exhaling for 4, holding for 4 again, and repeating. By 4 I mean seconds. And then you could also try some grounding techniques. One I learned was to, for example, name 5 things you can see, 4 things you can touch, 3 things you can hear, 2 you can smell, and 1 that you can taste. So, this brings you back in the present moment. This makes you focus on your senses. Or maybe you could try some gentle movement like walking, stretching, or any other kind of movement that feels good to you. And make sure to practice this daily and not just when you want to binge, because we want to make sure that we always, or that our body is in that calm state as often as possible, in that nervous system regulated state. Then step number 2 are emotional awareness and coping skills. Start noticing what you're feeling before you want to binge. Are you stressed, overwhelmed, lonely, bored, angry? Then build a toolkit of ways to meet those needs. For stress, maybe take a quick walk outside, take a bath, journal. For overwhelm, make a to-do list with everything that is in your mind that makes you feel overwhelmed. And then do one small task at a time, ask for help. For loneliness, reach out to someone, watch something funny, go somewhere with people. For boredom, have a list ready of short activities you can do, like 10 minutes activities you can do whenever you feel bored. So whenever you feel bored, you can look at this list and get inspired. And the goal isn't to never eat emotionally, but it is to have other options. Then step number 3, heal your relationship with food. This means giving yourself unconditional permission to eat all foods. Yes, even the ones you binge on. And I know this sounds scary, but it is the first step to heal your relationship with food. When foods aren't forbidden, they lose their power over you. Then also focus on eating regularly throughout the day to avoid getting overly hungry at any point during the day. Practice mindful eating, so eating slowly, paying attention to the taste, texture, and satisfaction. Then learn to trust your body's hunger and fullness cues. So instead of trying to stick to a rigid plan, focus on eating in a way that feels balanced and satisfying. Ask yourself, what will nourish my body but also bring me joy? And I just want to mention that all of this does take time and practice, especially if you've been dieting for years. Nothing happens from one day to the next, so we have to put in the work. Then step number 4, address the deeper patterns. This is where the real healing happens. And it means working on perfectionism or people-pleasing patterns, healing childhood wounds around food, body, and worthiness, learning to set boundaries and prioritize your needs, developing a sense of self-worth that isn't tied to how your body looks or what you eat. I have to say that that one was very, very crucial for me. And this also might mean to work with a therapist, coach, or any other healing practitioner. Step number 5, create a supportive environment. Surround yourself with people who support your healing. Unfollow social media accounts that trigger comparison or diet mentality. Keep nourishing foods available without labeling them as good or bad. And create routines and rituals that support your nervous system. What real healing looks like. When you heal binge eating holistically, you stop thinking about food constantly. You can keep trigger foods in your house without eating them all at once. You eat when you're hungry and you stop when you're satisfied. You have other ways to cope with difficult emotions. You feel calm and peaceful around food. You trust yourself to make choices that feel good in your body. You stop using food to punish or reward yourself. You feel free to live your life without food controlling your decisions. And this isn't about perfection. It is about freedom. Freedom to eat cake at a birthday party without spiraling. Freedom to have a bad day without turning to food. Freedom to trust yourself around any food, anywhere. So if you're ready to stop the meal plan madness and start healing for real, this week, throw away or delete any restrictive meal plans you have. Start practicing one nervous system regulation technique daily. Notice what you're feeling before you want to eat emotionally. Just observe, no judgment. Next week, give yourself permission to eat one food you've been restricting on. Practice eating it mindfully and notice how it actually tastes. And build one new coping strategy for your most common emotional trigger. Then ongoing, be patient with yourself. This is deep work that takes time. Celebrate small wins like pausing before you're eating or choosing a coping strategy over food. And remember that healing isn't linear. There will be setbacks and that is completely normal. And yeah, maybe even consider working with someone who understands the holistic approach to binge eating recovery. If you've been stuck in the binge restrict cycle, if you've tried every meal plan and nothing sticks, if you're ready to address the real root causes of your binge eating, please know that you're not broken and you do not need more willpower. You need a different approach. Healing binge eating isn't about finding the perfect meal plan. It is about healing your relationship with yourself. If you want to dive deeper and understand exactly why you feel out of control around food or why you keep turning to food when you're stressed, bored, emotional, I've got something for you. It is a free quiz called What Type of Emotional Eater Are You? It's super quick and it will help you uncover your unique patterns around food and give you personalized tips to break the cycle for good. It's honestly such a game changer and you can take it right now, so just click the link down in the description. And if this video resonated with you, please hit that like and subscribe button and send it to someone who might benefit from it, because this not only helps me grow this channel, but more importantly, it helps more women who are struggling find this message. Drop a comment below and let me know what is one meal plan rule you're ready to let go of. And remember, your healing journey is unique to you. Trust the process, trust your body, and trust yourself. Lots of love, and I'll see you in the next video.